Welcome to the Fit Diet Podcast, where we'll learn the processes and habits of healthy eating, exercise, and lifestyle. Food for fitness, if you will, with the founders of MindMuscleMemory.com, Miles Betcha and Greg Rando. Miles' expertise with programs and coaching have led him to training thousands of clients all over for the past 2 decades with enormous success, and he's dedicated himself to transforming the course of fitness and health for many. And his partner, Greg Rando, has his own unique skill set as a professional in the world of bodybuilding, with the ability to teach and inspire all he comes in contact with. Join me now as we discover the secrets of sticky fiber and proper habits and how to implement the MindMuscleMemory.com lifestyle. Welcome in, and thanks for listening. And welcome to another edition, everyone, of the Fit Diet Podcast, brought to us by M3. That's MindMuscleMemory.com, and its founders, Miles Betcha and Greg Rando. Greg, how are you today? You on the line?
I'm here, Bobby. Thanks. I'm doing wonderful.
Outstanding. Glad to hear that. Miles, how are you, my partner in crime?
Oh, very good. Very
Outstanding. Good. Outstanding. So glad to hear that today, fellas.
How about you, Bobby?
How about me? I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for asking. I appreciate that. I want to bring up a topic today that's near and dear to my heart, and it's going to be applicable, I think, for everybody who's on the line and listening. Probably the most important trait or tactic that we can acquire and learn, and that's mental toughness. And moreover, what the 5 ways to strengthen our mind and then build mental toughness. I think it's outstanding that you guys want to delve into this. You know, mental toughness refers to a person's grit, right? And their ability to press on and show resilience to overcome obstacles, whether it's, you know, weight loss, sports, getting in shape, school, work, or anything else that life throws at us. And though the definition is the same for everyone, how each of us shows mental toughness differs from one another. I'm going to throw my 2 cents in here and say this about that it all begins in the mind. Whether it's a goal we're looking to achieve, all action has its roots in thought, and thought is generated in the mind. And in order to build mental toughness, we have 5 tips or 5 ways to strengthen our mind and build mental toughness. So, Miles, I'd like you to start off the conversation, if you would, and tell us what the importance of it is and how we can implement these 5 skill sets to our goals, please.
Sure. I appreciate this topic as well so much because, you know, we tend to, as we go along, to start a lot of things, and we start lots of things, and you know, somewhat really not all the time finish things. And so this is how I've, you know, found out for myself throughout the years, just personally, and I like to make sure that when I work with a client and I say, you know, okay, that you got that goal. That was a great, you know, short-term goal. You achieved that one. And now you have to reset. You have to set this next one. So set a next one, just a smart goal. It's achievable, realistic. You've already attained this. So now you know how far you can go in this amount of time. We can replicate that, but it's going to be challenging. And it's in this time frame that I say that you have to be tough and you have to focus, because now's the time when you already get that one, like, oh, well, I reached my first goal, and you sort of slip off, right? Okay, well, I don't have to push any harder now, or I don't have to keep that same pattern going. But I always see that it's easy to start something again new, but how well do you keep going on that one thing that you need to keep one step more?
Yes,
and it's that focus that you maintain, that you're saying, I have to be tough on myself, and I have to strengthen my mind to keep going and to make sure that I accomplish this again, and I accomplish it again, because even when somebody gets to say, let's say it's a body fat level goal, like they trim their body fat down to a certain point, and this is what's going on right now with the client, I say, okay, you got down this body fat level, but you know, just staying here at this level is going to be hard, because it's so tempting to do the things you're doing in the past and then gain some of that back. So you got to be tough. You got to be tough on yourself. You got to be focused, and to keep doing the things that got you here long enough that you get that routine. And it's tough to do that. So that's what I would start with in applying this. What is this mental toughness, and defining how to stay with that, repeating, staying with it, not losing focus, and just going on to the next thing.
Two things I'll add to that, if I could, Miles. There's a song by the Red Hot Chili Peppers that has a lyric in it that says, "I'm slow to finish, but I'm quick to start." And that's really a great. I appreciate it whenever that particular song comes on and I hear that line. The other one was from a motivational speaker that's passed away now, but he was one of my mentors and heroes, Jim Rohn, Rohn. I'd encourage everybody out there to Google him and listen to him. Real. Just fundamental stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
He exclaims this in that way. He says, with regards to what you were just saying about, getting the next goal. He says, don't linger too long at the table of success. We have to develop that future appetite. So two fitting statements that you brought up there or principles. I think. Well, we'll get into it a little bit later. But Greg, what are your thoughts? You, being a competitive bodybuilder, and for over 20 years, 25 years now, you have to have that certain innate fortitude and that desire. How do you exceed last year's performance or the last competition's performance, and how do you keep that fire burning? What's the significance of mental toughness in terms of your chosen profession?
Well, for me, mental toughness really comes down to one word for me. I mean, consistency, and developing good habits, and sustainable habits.
Yes.
I think successful people are consistently developing systems and habits that are easy to stick to on a routine basis, and I think that's real important to find a system that, through all the negativity and just the negativity and challenges that we incur in everyday life, I think it's very important to be consistent and find that schedule or that system that allows us to overcome those challenges to maintain that routine daily.
Consistency, yeah. I would definitely have to agree with you. I think that is huge.
Yes, yeah.
You said about the habits, and sustainability in terms of those habits. But, habits, if you do some studying on it, it's been said, after 21 days we develop a habit. But moreover, once it's been said that we develop our habits, and then in turn our habits develop us, or they become us. So we can actually, if I hear that correctly, it's really encouraging news, because if I am persistent with an objective for a sustained amount of time, it really literally develops its own life. Now, there's a unique illustration you can make mentally, speaking of mental toughness, about a rocket ship breaking through the Earth's atmosphere. It fully expends 85-90% of its energy doing just that, getting up and out of the atmosphere. Now, once it breaks free and it's out there in space, as it were, it's only a little toggle on the throttle. It's only a little tweak here, expending very little energy, but achieving its said goal, and that is one of perhaps observation or exploration. So same true with a habit, guys. We set out a goal to get to 12% body fat from 31% body fat. It's going to be a drag, and it's going to be a chore. We're going to expend fully 95% of our energy developing that habit. But once we start to see the results, then that sustainability kind of kicks in, and it goes on more or less on its own volition or autopilot. No, Miles? Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. I like that. I like how you said, you're still going to need to stay, like you had to tie in both things, like you said, Greg, consistency, and then as you mentioned, Bobby, the part of our habits will build us. We build a habit, and the habit builds us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it takes a lot of that push, right, to get it to that point. And then it brings those things together. The consistency is hard, right, Greg? And getting that, that effort to get it going, right?
Yeah, and those habits and those habits, they establish a foundation of our belief system. They really perpetuate our belief system, and it goes together. Our habits, our ability to establish a repeatable system of habits is just going to strengthen and reinforce our belief system, and and improve our job, our education, our health, whatever it is we're trying to improve for our performance.
Yeah, I like the.
I know.
I enjoy the on the blog post over at mindmusclememory.com. What we're talking about, the blog that we're pulling from 5 ways to strengthen our mind and build mental toughness. The brain on the dumbbell. The game is 95% mental, and we're born with this hardware, right? That our brain, that's the hardware. The software is the belief system or the programming to achieve that belief system, which consists of consistency and sustainability. The other thing I wanted to say about that is that when we tie the feeling, when we have a client and they have achieved their goal, is to really anchor them in that success feeling of achievement, and to really bring it home and say that, look, this is possible. All things are possible to those that believe. And once they achieve it, if we can tie it and believe it into it, I think that consistency to do it the next time is further ingrained into the hardware or the brain through that belief software. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Definitely. And I'd like to push forward on that one thing, and that is on number 2 about focus on small victories. I think that I see it as, I believe that if we help people every week, every day, throughout the years, we help people hit some short-term victories, improving the arm strength, changing to eat more greens throughout the day, whether it's be cut beans or peas, or whether it's spinach or salad.
Sure.
And if when we get those small victories with especially with our exercise and changing, that we kept up eating, like I said, cook some spinach twice a week and just eat it with your food or whatever it's going to be. And people can see these results quickly, and when you can quickly feel the bike that you can ride better, or the arm strength that you can improve on, or the just maintaining that you keep actually using the spinach that's in your refrigerator, and it gets used up like that. I cheer people on when they say, I say, did you finish the vegetables this week and that you bought fresh? Yeah. Did you finish them this week that you bought fresh? Yeah. And all of a sudden, it's like 2 or 3 weeks. Like, congratulations!
Yes,
that's amazing. You're buying the vegetables and you're eating them. That's a huge small victory, and those things can just be so quickly, but they build on each other, right? They anchor you, and they anchor you into that habit too. So,
well, that's what it's about. It's about building those anchors. Sometimes we get off course. And we could just be a little bit off course, But let's say we're 1 degree off course coming from Arizona, and our destination is Florida. Well, if we're just 1 degree off, we could end up in West Virginia in a short amount of time. So it's so important to stay that course and enjoy those small victories and focus on them. That's outstanding. Outstanding.
And and just the same, if we continue to do our sets and get to rep 11 when we can do 12 and quit, or we just we're not as consistent or disciplined getting to our workouts, this is going to set us up to fail. And it's not our bodies that are failing, it's our minds that are failing us when we fail to push for that last rep, or we fail to get out of our way and get away from the distractions that find a way in front of us and distract us from getting to our workouts. So we have to find our own systems and belief, habits of belief to get ourselves through and around those obstacles, to allow ourselves to be consistent, to set ourselves up for success, right?
Indeed.
My gosh, yeah.
One of the things that we were all gifted with from the time we showed up on the scene here called life is an imagination. So the imagination, what we hold in that mind's eye really can dictate our future. And if we can envision the goal already achieved, in other words, what I'm saying is live as though the wish were fulfilled or the goal were achieved or the desire was accomplished. If I'm coming to mind muscle memory and I've got some, issues, and they may not be great, but I want to just, maximize my abilities. I want to see myself to transcend even writing down the goal, using my imagination. How would I feel if I were at my ideal body weight, and if I didn't have joint pain, or if it was minimized, and if I could, hug the grandkids and run around and play and all this kind of stuff? How would I feel? And then kind of live from that feeling or that vision, that internal mind's eye. What happens as I've practiced that discipline is that I see the small victories piling up. And those small victories, those foundational building blocks, essentially make up the man or the woman over time. We're so distracted by going, just like you say, Greg, going to the gym and you got, certain, I don't like the music and I forgot my headphones and this guy wants to talk to me about this issue. And then there's the drama over there. And the next thing you know, we're not pushing through that 11th or 12th rep. And it's not so much the body that's failing, it's our minds. We've allowed them to be infiltrated or, to a degree. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Spend mind fatigue or, whatever, physical or emotional fatigue in areas, that really aren't helpful, which is another point to note here, which is trying to alleviate ourselves of, things we can control and things we can't, right?
True.
So controlling our mind, we can control, our mind and what we want to exert the energy on. Right. So
totally.
Yeah.
And with that, we just in our family here over in Arizona, we had one of our mentors, because we would like to have other people, kind of look at things in a certain way for us, and speak with one of our mentors out here. We, because even us, as
the coach's coach,
trying to help people, we're trying to help. Yeah, exactly. We still want to learn some too. And so with this particular one, she said, if you think about a hula hoop, okay, you got to put that hula hoop what you can control is to keep that hula hoop up on around your waist, and might go slow with it, you might go fast with it, but what is inside that hula hoop is all you can control. You can't control what's outside of that hula hoop. So as you're moving and doing things about the day, about what happens throughout the day, in the part of your day, is there something outside of your control, outside of that hula hoop, that you shouldn't be stressing about? Like you say, Greg, the mental fatigue, getting this thing. But then you have to say, well, wait, is that on my hula hoop? Do I have control of that or not? And so that was a really cool, very, very cool visual, talking about visualization, that our mentor said about to help the family sort of realize some things are in our control and some things aren't.
That's a wonderful insight from your mentor's very wise in my estimation. The control, what we control, the only thing that we control is our own thought life. When you boil it down, circumstances, whether it be what we're going through right now, the pandemic, all the upheaval, et cetera, like that. Well, I can control what I focus my attention on or not, and stay within or without side of that hula hoop. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, number 4, just to recap, we define our definition of mental toughness and we focus on small victories. We practice what we can and cannot control, which is huge. But talk to us about high standards, fellas, and setting them high, and the reason for that, setting the bar high for ourselves. What's the significance of that?
Yeah, well, if we're going to set out to achieve something, we're going to, establish a plan and decide, what small victories are necessary to achieve on the way to our plan. So, it's important to set high standards and challenge yourself. Not only, repetition, within your workout and repetition sets, but challenge yourself to make sure that, you're consistent, you're disciplined with your routine. We have to make sure that, we work hard when we get to the gym and we're nourish ourselves and hydrate ourselves so our performance is good, but we also have to make sure we hold ourselves accountable and get our workouts in and make make time for the important things that we need to achieve to maintain those good habits and that strength in our belief system. And whatever it is we're setting out to achieve, we always want to try to challenge ourselves, push ourselves, and of course we have to be smart at the same time, but we have to challenge ourselves and find the parameters of that comfort zone and challenge that once in a while.
Yeah, that's.
Go ahead, Miles. I apologize.
Yeah. No, Bobby, what were you thinking?
No, but there's that saying, right? Shoot for the stars, and if you miss, you might end up with the moon.
That's right.
I mean, not for nothing.
Right.
Not for nothing. If we don't meet or exceed our standards, we're still further along the path, albeit is not 1 degree off than we were when we set out. So I think that setting high standards is a bare bones essential. For the reasons that Greg just pointed out, and again, if we fall short of our goal, which we all do from time to time, I mean, look at your major league sporting teams. The ones that have enjoyed success since 2001, the New England Patriots. I mean, they've got this level of, like them or not, agree with their philosophy or not, there's a culture there that they set this high standard. So if they don't get to the Super Bowl, they've been to 9 Super Bowls and won 6. Would they have loved to win all 9? I'm sure they would have, but they're still viable and they're still in the game or in that scenario because they set those standards. They may not have hit the stars, but they came up with the moon by virtue of the fact that they won their division. And so that's all I had to say about that. I apologize. I just had to get that in there.
Well, no, that's good. I like the way you said that. Yeah.
And I really appreciate the reference to my New England Patriots. And as a New England Patriots fan, we hear that term mental. Like I said, as a Patriots fan, we hear that term mental toughness all the time with Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, right? And they're very successful, and successful players, they don't miss workouts. Successful players, they don't miss assignments. Successful players, they have each other's back. Successful leaders, they have clear, concise, clear-cut goals. They don't let negativity and distractions get in their way. They stay focused on long-term goals, and they always encourage others around them. So, mental toughness lends itself to success in so many different ways, and it doesn't only improve your performance or affect your outcome. It really rubs on others around us, yeah. And that's what we try to project upon our clients as M3 coaches, with our backgrounds, our experience, our accomplishments, and taking that and putting that into a curriculum that we're able to convey all that to our clients and help them sort of, as we said, sort of fast track or minimize the trial and error and get them to see what we've found through our practices and behaviors leading to our successes. And that's what we want to help share and provide. And it's, as we said, it's yeah.
Definitely, and that's why I like that. Yeah, and that's why I like on the next, as we look at this work outside your comfort zone, and the number 5 on the 5 ways to acquire new skills, and the first level of that is working outside your comfort zone, meaning you only have so many skills right now. And what's the thing that you maybe need to add in to make that to strengthen your mind, to make it so that you have better focus, or better attuned to tuning up your mind, so that you know that you can achieve, and you're gonna even though you haven't gotten there yet, you will get there. I guess that's what I want to tie into I New England Patriots. Was that even though they hadn't gotten there yet, they were certainly always striving to get there, to get to the Super Bowl. And then after they got there once, they said, "Well, we're going to go for this every year," like you said, and maybe we won't win every time, but we're going to certainly set that standard high that we're going to get there as many times as we possibly can, if not every year.
Yeah.
And then they had to acquire new skills to do so. Well, what are we going to develop here to get to stretch our mental capacity, to stretch our mind? And it might be, as we went back to the beginning, would be to have some type of continuity, some type of continuation of how where our best practices are going. And let's not lose touch with that.
Yeah, you cannot. And those guys are they're constantly striving to stay on that analogy with the football program with the Patriots. They're bringing in new personnel. They're bringing in new schemes, the player personnel. They want to, because people adjust. And here's the funny thing about mindmusclememory.com. I mean, what happens is our bodies rather, our bodies are super smart. Our brains are super smart. So once we start something and we've mastered it, what it's craving is something new to attack, because it adapts. It adapts to our diet. It adapts to our workout and our training methodologies. And so at Mind Muscle Memory, there's constantly a blog going on. There's constantly information being shared and transferred. And it's really important to acquire the new skill sets that you set before them. And so because we avoid that adaptability, hole that we could fall into, and then lose heart, lose desire over time. Acquiring new skills is excellent. And if I may do this, I was sharing with you guys before the call, I recently went out. I always wanted to play the bass guitar. I wanted to play the guitar, but it had too many strings on it. It was too, so I backed up to 4 strings and one of the things my mentor and coach said is, look, Bobby, practice 5 minutes a day. Don't practice for an hour and then leave it set for a week. Practice 5 minutes a day, and then when you go to sleep at night, it'll kind of ferment and do all these things behind the scenes, as it will. And then when you approach it the next, he certainly wants us to do more than 5 minutes a day, but that's better than doing it chunked up. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Miles.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bobby. I was just about to say, well, you're a heck of a drummer, and you're self-taught drummer. So if you think back years ago, I mean, you obviously started with some basic skills, and you were able to just naturally evolve and become more sophisticated, right? With your ability.
But with the same thing with that is, it's funny, they call them chops, right? In the industry, the musical industry, how's your chops? And if you don't pay attention to it, you'll lose your chops. The same with the physical body. Is what, when we're tying it back into the mind, muscle, memory concepts here, our bodies adapt. So that's why it's so important to set high standards, to acquire new skills, implement them, and keep our body guessing. And our body's super resilient, and it wants a challenge. But it's naturally going to default to a lazy pattern. It's up to our mindset and the mental effort that we put forth that really dictates what our bodies are going to do, in my estimation.
Absolutely. No, it's all controlled in our mind, right?
Well, you make a good point, too, in the blog, Miles. Here
Yeah.
it says, it's an important part of our personal growth to work daily to build our mental toughness. It's just important, as for all the reasons we've been discussing. We got to think to ourselves why we haven't tried a new exercise, or tried a new recipe, or added more sets to a workout, or take up a hobby, the bass guitar, that we've never done it before. The smallest thing that we can implement or try can have the greatest impact. And that's so valuable. That's really that's wisdom right there. I think it's pretty good.
And we've all seen it
thanks,
too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we all have seen
Very
it.
good. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the funny part.
They,
When we see it, when we see the result, then we're more apt to, going on the next thing. When we see a good result after 2 weeks of eating the vegetables that we purchased on a Friday and we've consumed them during the course of the week, and we've done that week 1, 2, and 3, well, now all of a sudden it's like, it becomes that habit, right? After 21 days, it's second nature. And we can build on that and then add something else in and take something off the plate that's that's not really working for us, and implement or introduce something new that will be complementary.
Right. And here's some good information too. I was reading a study. I don't have the information here, and this is what I read. It can obviously be referenced, but there were multiple studies done on successful people, and they took into account intelligence, genetics, and essentially, grit and mental strength. And what they found out was that intelligence and genetics, they only played at the top end of the spectrum, 30% had a 30% effect on overall success. So really, grit, perseverance, and mental toughness was mostly responsible for people's success. And these studies were done with people that were, graduated with high GPAs or high SAT scores, or there were different control groups, but essentially, in the end, the results were that mental toughness and grit were really the most determining factors in people's success. So that just goes to show that, we all have the ability to develop our mental toughness muscle as well as we develop our bicep muscles. So, but
your mind is a muscle, in my estimation.
The mind is a muscle, and we need to train it properly. That's why, we've all heard that, get up in the morning, make your bed, because that establishes a good behavior. And then we can have a good practice. And there's another, we stack these behaviors up. But we know it. We've had a series of small, beneficial behaviors that good habits that reinforce our belief system. And we continue to pile these behaviors up. This is what creates mental toughness and gives us the fortitude and strength to really know that we can take on tough challenges and accomplish difficult tasks, and or a series of them, whatever it's put in front of us. But we do need to train the mental toughness muscle as well by consistency, just as we do in the gym.
Well said.
Important.
Well said. And it's in the title. It's in the title of your business, guys. Mind is first. Mind, muscle, memory. Well said, Greg. Excellent.
Thanks, brother.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys. There's 5 tips here. I would encourage everybody to get over to that mindmusclememory.com website. 5 ways to build your mental strength. Number 1, define mental toughness. Number 2, focus on those small victories. Number 3, practice accepting what you can and cannot control. Number 4, set those high standards. Shoot for the stars. You never know what you're going to get on the way down. 5, acquire new skills. It's an important part of our growth mentally. How can you build your mental toughness today? Well, at Mind Muscle Memory at M3, these fellows have developed a fall fitness challenge. That's right. The Fall Fitness Challenge to help individuals just like yourself to push you outside of your comfort zone and to help each of you reach your goals. So you want to visit over there, click on the link and learn more and find out how you can build your mental strength with the Mind Muscle Memory Plan. Guys, great topic. My mind feels stronger already just for having discussed the very topic.
Miles, what did I tell you?
I was mentally flabby when I came.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Bobby, when Miles sent the article over, I told him that host Bobby Stein is going to love this topic.
It is.
That's right.
When you think of it...
Well, you are
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, come to think of it, you do host a podcast based on the mind itself as well, don't you? The motivated mindset.
The motivated mindset. That's right. And
excellent.
It precedes
and
everything.
Yeah. We're super fortunate to have you hosting us, Bobby.
We're all co-hosting together. I mean, you guys have a worthy objective. It's a worthy ideal and a worthy cause that people can avail themselves of simply by cruising the web. Go over to mindmusclememory.com and gather up all this information. Get your mind tough, get your body firm, and achieve your goals and objectives. And continue to tune into the Fit Diet Podcast brought to you by mindmusclememory.com with your host, Bobby Stein, along with co-founders Miles Betcha and Greg Rando. Thanks for listening and take great care.